Hi, everybody. We have a couple of questions. Always need more. Um, I think we'll be left with maybe one after tonight. So I really appreciate you sending in some more. Thanks for people who have been sending them in. This question comes from Cody Novak in and around Toronto. It's an interesting question. Not an easy one, but it's an important one, I think. My question is, when living day-to-day life, the energy can be strong and uncomfortable. Yeah, it can. It creates feelings of being physically uncomfortable and emotionally intense or unbalanced. Okay. What is it that creates this uncomfortness? And I am often thinking about energy, but not regularly meditating or balancing. I can imagine this contributes to the unbalanced aspect of these energies. There's a whole area that this brings up, Cody, and brings up a question that is not popular in the views of personalities that consider themselves spiritual or engaged in spiritual growth, because it's very difficult to see. But at the same time, a very positive thing. And one of the things that it does bring up, I'll talk a little bit about it, is that any level of growth is often very physical because our focus, our literal focus in life is extremely physical. You can prove that, and I know I've said this before, but you can stand in front of a mirror early in the morning, preparing for the day, getting ready, whatever that means to you. And it's your physical body that engages emotionally, mentally, so to speak, and your personality that decides just exactly how things are. This is a thing that is often forgotten and put aside as if it doesn't really matter, and boy, does it ever matter. Because this form that we have really is virtually involved with who we believe we are and whatever we think we are. And when energy comes in, one of the reasons it comes into us as we are developing is so that we can begin to see ourselves, not other people, ourselves. And the reason for that, it goes deeper. The reason for that is in seeing ourselves, we begin to understand some of the subtleties that we don't like to see in ourselves. That's just honest. And some of the things that hold us from actually growing. And we also tend to put a focus on the attributes that we believe we already have. And our idea of spiritual growth often includes becoming extra special in a layer of engagement that relates directly to increasing a focus on the personality. This is not a judgment call. This is how it works. From my perspective, of course, you don't have to agree, but nonetheless, it's how it works. So you move in cycles. You begin to grow. And there's a dilemma involved, which is involved with another question that I'm going to talk about, hopefully talk about as well, and that relates to the idea of the soul and what that means and how you relate to that and your idea of consciousness or spirit or spiritual growth. All these things are very complex because we ourselves are complex. But in relationship to this particular point of reference, when energy comes in, you have reactions. Now, if you're lucky or fortunate within yourself, having grown a bit, and I think this is true in your case, as you know, and so the energy comes in to help you to understand that you are there and as a being of consciousness, and you are on these particular planes. And legitimately, your focus is going to be on your personality, your physical body, your emotional disposition, and the way you think is it the right way to do things and the wrong way to do all that sort of stuff that we all are a part of. So what begins to occur is, and I agree with you about the meditation part, if you can allow yourself to soften down your reflex to be important as an individual. Real hard to do in our world. Then you can begin to notice how we function in it and our strategies and the importance that we put on our own personality constructs. That is to say, as energy is coming into you in a natural way, it comes in to the physical body through these chakras, to the emotional disposition, and with great intensity, if you are engaging in the world in an intense manner. Thus, meditation kind of helps, but not the only answer. Recognizing that your particular focus in a particular way that has been that way for a long period of time, and it seems that we have constructed these methods for a long period of time, that increases. It increases to show you those strategies and methods. Well, there's a couple of ways of dealing with that. Number one is softening down and beginning to realize that that energy coming in isn't coming in because we're great or wonderful. It's coming in to help us to understand and see at a deeper level. Not negate, see. Well, we're not used to that. Nor do we wish to sometimes even think that that could be true, because we tend to image focus. And if we have a particular kind of image, then as a personality, you protect an image. This is a little astray from your question, but nonetheless, very much a part of it. And so what begins to occur is the images that you have get bigger instead of smaller, and you don't see them as bigger because you didn't see them before. In this particular case, in this particular question, you're wondering if the energy can be strong and uncomfortable. Yes, it's uncomfortable because you're not used to using it in relationship to the intensity that you practiced previously. So that means you're growing nonetheless. And it creates feelings of being physically uncomfortable because your focus is still on the physical form. So it follows that focus. If it increases, it follows that focus. If you had an idea in your head, which you don't, that you were extra special, it would elevate your extra specialness, because that's your version of what you find important in the layers of the material plane here. And that would be you saying that you were really spiritual. And you don't do that. This I know. However, it's all part of engaging. For example, then you could say, you could talk to that energy and ask it to be gentle. Create a boundary. In other words, these are the parameters that I prefer to have in my relationship with growth, because of my inability to function outside those parameters very well. With emotion, it's really interesting because most of our lives are effectively engaged with an intense wish or hope, and that just pulls energy, to be of value relative to the views of other people and relative to the views of us. This is a thing they call ego. And ego has many names, and the variances of how we would believe such a thing are many. Someone acts out in relationship to how they see other people, and therefore they're more important than everybody else. That is an image of them protecting the importance of them, and because they are vulnerable in that, they need to express it more. This would be a natural, normal thing. In your case, I think what's happening is your meditation has dropped off a little bit, just a little bit. And it might help to meditate a little bit more and talk inside to that level of energy, asking it to come in a manner that would be helpful in terms of your daily life, and to soften your relationship with it. If you are under stress at all, it will go to stress, because that's what you'll be focused on. If you're trying to calm down, you will attempt to calm down, but depending on your personality style, because this is not about verbal stuff, it's about experiential stuff. So if you're used to, for example, if you would have been used to tremendous intensity in you because you were constantly defending yourself all the time, unknown to you, then it would be increasing more that intensity, because that's what you normally do. Intensify for that purpose. All of us have pieces and parts of this stuff. If you're attempting to soften down, then suddenly there will be a softening that begins to occur. But the cycles of how you were before keep churning around and coming back. If you are able to perceive that, then you will know when you're in one of those cycles. Ah, that's calmer. Oh, that's good. And then suddenly, over a period of time, suddenly intensity starts again. Well, more energy has come in to be helpful so that you can stretch beyond what you're normally able to handle in the expressions of how you were before. So you see how you were before coming back again, and you look at that and you say, okay, now I don't need to do it this way, I don't need to do it that way, and you can learn how to soften that down. There are some exercises that you could use, which you're well aware of, and it will help to some degree. The dilemma is the personality that's always been there will constantly always want to be the one in charge. And it is an aspect of the expression of life, not the full enchilada. However, many believe that it is the full enchilada, and as they grow, they will just increase again what they did before, and they won't be able to see it very well. This happens a lot, all over the world. It's not extra special to any group of people. Happens everywhere. Or you hide behind a facade of honest expression, meaning you honestly want to be this way, so therefore you act that way, and the facade is you don't see it. And you believe other people can't see through it. These are very complex things, and they're not negative. They're just part of what happens as we grow. Also, what happens is so gentle and softness can come in, and it can be helpful to you to understand that that is a movement towards understanding there is such a gentle engagement that can occur in every type of frequency that exists. You begin to slowly understand that. It's a dilemma, because in back of many of our minds is an honest engagement with wanting to grow. Spiritually, I'll add that, because not in the back of everyone's mind is a version of spirituality that relates to being soft. It relates to being in charge and being important because they are growing. This, unfortunately, creates a cloud of disguise, which is really hard to move around, because the force of it can be quite strong. And we're a civilization, or a species that pays attention, at least to some degree, to what other people say. And if we don't know something ourselves, we tend to agree with them. Or we might tend to have a reaction against whatever it is. But there's quite a bit of emphasis on directing our attentions in ways that are culturally valuable, nationally valuable, whatever it is that you want to look at as real. So I don't know whether I've come up with a whole lot of stuff here, but let's go over it. It creates feelings of being physically uncomfortable. I think I covered that. And emotionally intense or unbalanced. Emotion has a tendency to ride with reflexes and reactions. It's really fascinating because you can make whole big images that play in that, or you can watch those reflexes come in and out of you unbidden. You don't want them to be there, but they're there. That, I am afraid, is true. Now, you can ask for help with that. You can use the life map. And what you do with that is you're turning your hands on, and your honest sincerity inside is asking, and this is risky, of course, because you're not focused only on your personality, but you're asking for actual help from that energy to come in and help you not to act out in a way that relates to how you normally have done all your life, or to soften. Another way to say it is to soften down a natural reflex that is very protective of images that you've created on your own. It's a dilemma because we are then charged internally, mentally, emotionally, with ideas that we believe must be true because they're in our own heads. Many ideas that come into our heads are not of value at all. As a matter of fact, just nonsense. But you have to allow them to be seen as nonsense. Or you see them only as true because it's in your own head. This is a complicated part of things. Holy smokes. But nonetheless, it happens to be in our world. And nobody wants to talk about that stuff because it's too doggone hard. They only want to talk about it like as if they're right. Whatever it is that they believe is there, they are right. And this is the nature of how we have been trained. Or even if you're not right, nobody else is right if you're not right. This is so difficult in the whole process of actual growth. It's not difficult if you're in a pseudo-growth process, meaning it's not really real, but it feels okay and it agrees with you. You're not in that place. Not at all. But some of us have touched that place. Be careful of the arguments that you have with yourself. Because, in fact, there is a tremendous vulnerability in loving. It opens you so much. And so, therefore, you could also say there's a tremendous vulnerability in loving yourself. But it moves in the other direction, where you focus on yourself being the only valid image that must exist. And I said exist, but that's overplay. Because so many of us have touched on all of this stuff. It's knowing that you do it and then deciding not to. That's where it's hard. So energy can come in. And here's another place, and this place is really interesting. You may have a certain frequency in you and have had. And I think this is true. That part at least. And a new frequency comes in. And I'll try and talk a little bit about that in the next question. But a new frequency comes in. And in the early stages of anything new, it's a little more raw. And so, for some people, you're not used to noticing that. But it's interesting because if a person is potentially capable of handling frequencies that they don't already or haven't had very often in them, that energy comes in a little bit raw, sort of on a lower level. But the individual, because it's had experience in softer levels or more respectful levels of others, what will begin to occur is that you gentle that rawness over a short period of time. Could be only 20 years, could be 50 years, could be a lifetime. But it's gentler, and then you become more capable of having energy operate through with more than one or two or three or four frequencies. Now, it's a vulnerable thing that when I mention that, some folks will say, oh, they have all kinds of frequencies operating through them, and but that's the image part, the biases that I was talking about before. But in a new way, if that energy operates, and it would not come in unless you can handle it. Handle the softening. But it takes a little bit of time to allow yourself to be okay with not necessarily agreeing with you. And that's an aspect of softening, an aspect of understanding. And you shift from the emotional need to be intense to a mental need to say, oh, I see that, and I don't really think that that will be helpful in the short run. I need to have that softened so that I can engage, and not only engage with that one, I need to be able to handle, be okay with softening down. And one of that ways of softening down is not necessarily agreeing with every emotion that is expressed in you. And this is a refinement related to the soul as a being of consciousness, learning how to function on these levels and soften down the intensity that these levels demand to make you a valuable person. And in that personage, it's really a personage, it's a form that we construct in our relationship with existence. And we've all had this. There's another dilemma too that is going to happen. I'm covering these because it's your question. I think it's an important one. If you're not used to that kind of energy coming in, you must be careful of judgment of you in circumstances where it shows up. Try to be as kind as you can with that energy and say, I really don't need it with that much intensity. And if I'm finding that that's flaring in me and I'm believing I need it, then asking for help for it, that it can soften down so you can handle it better, gentler, more respectful, and kind. These things are really difficult on our planes because our planes are normally used to using energies that have a great fervor in them for the personalizations that we've constructed. Insistent on being this way versus that way, and that means you're something really valuable. This is not a simple thing, but it affects folks because that intensity is protecting the images that we have constructed for the purpose of being somehow important based on our background. And based on our adventures, and based on this, and based on that. And once it's based on this and based on that, it's an aspect of our personality background. And those are quite physical. And that brings in more intensity. Learning to understand more about the fact that it's okay not to utilize that kind of frequency, which becomes extremely important in the long run. Becomes very loving after a while. And it affects the personality in such a way as to see and be able to allow shifts and changes and occurrences to occur that are not based on belief, that are not based on what should or shouldn't happen, but are based on what is viable in a moment, in a second, and then released. Personality then, I'll say it out loud, is in less charge than it wants to be. And this is something that I've been saying in different language, in a different way, but it's for me, it's very valuable because it's a subject matter that hardly anybody talks about. And if you're actually really wanting to grow deeply, you'll run into it. And obviously, you're running into it now. Let me just finish to say, I am often thinking about energy, but not regularly meditating balance. You meditate a little bit more and see if that helps. And the balancing is, remember, if you do it under the armpits for your solar plexus, root, and gonad centers, these are the key centers in the personalization of anything and everything. And they can be quite physical. Our root center is very physical. And there are aspects of the gonad center and root center and solar plexus center that are very physical, but aspects of them that can be spiritual, but not related to the personality. Now think about that one, because that one's really important. Not in relationship to the importance of the personality. Wow. It's a mouthful and a half. Okay, I think I talked about everything I wanted to. And you were right. It does contribute to the unbalanced aspect of these energies, meditating. But even when you're meditating, sometimes they can still be there because there's shifts in the numbers of frequencies it can operate through. And it's, awareness of that is more rare than an individual talking about them. It's very rare. So this, what I wrote, I don't think it... Okay, it is clear that we attempt to maintain our personality strictly as they have been from early beginnings, early childhood. Whatever stories we tell ourselves, this reflex is elastic. As we grow, we cycle back unknowingly to how we have been before. I talked about that already. And that's not negative, just how it works. That's what we do. There are belief systems out here that, out in our world, that says once we have attained a certain level, we don't circle back. That level is not here very well. No, it's hard to swallow. But acting is here. We act. But when it is there, your personality is watching it. It's not playing in it. It's not engaged with it. You're a system that is engaged with another state, and the state is only helpful to the growing of a being. No negation is involved with it. No uplifting, nothing like that. And that one's hard to sell because everybody wants to be Big Joe, whatever. And then little by little we begin to change, but since we didn't really know what our instincts and who our instincts and images were exactly, our increased energy and awareness runs into seeing as just a little better the stimulation of reaction and the hidden aspects of us. That's kind of a little difficult for us because we see ourselves in a certain kind of a way that needs to be protected, right? And then we begin to see, later on, we begin to see some hidden aspects. Well, they're not really hidden, but they're not included in the composition that we write to ourselves about us. And it's important to be open about that, but being open about that is really difficult for most people. And because they feel embarrassed or they feel as if something is wrong because they're seeing a side of themselves that they don't like. But they haven't seen it in their life, but they've been like that. There isn't a person who hasn't utilized some aspects of emotion that lies within the species. It's not a friendly statement to make. But as you really honestly look at yourself, anybody ever been grumbly? Ever been happy? Ever been just glad to be there? Just then not so glad. Ever been hurt because you cared for something and it didn't care back, or someone didn't care back? These are all things that everyone feels. It's not special to anybody. Ever felt like you were underrated? Overrated? Ever noticed you were overrated? Because you may not have noticed. Maybe you're the one that's overrating you. Or maybe you're the one that's underrating you. These are all part of being a human being. These things you get to see, but not only the bad things and not only the good things. You begin to realize you are a human being. And for some people, that's a shock. Oh, and I'm not talking about verbalization, saying it. I'm talking about knowing it inside. And then trying to settle down. As our energy increases, awareness runs into seeing us a little bit better, stimulating a reaction to hidden reactions and purposes that we have inside of ourselves. So go slow. We are tricky. Our idealized personalities, however that is, needs not to be seen by us perfectly, because we can't handle it. Just go slow. Being honest with yourself and trying not to negate other people for whatever they believe. But of course, you will do that if they stand in your way of being some kind of important person. It's just the way it works. And it's kind of sad. None of us are perfect. But boy, what a question. But it is what happens. And there can be changes. You can run into changes after running into a change that you're talking about, Cody. You can run into one where you're so calm inside and so peaceful and so wonderful for months. And suddenly, bingo, something changes. And then we start our reasoning process, highly emotional, highly focused on our own self-interest, legitimately. And we begin to say, oh, somebody else might be causing this. And it's true, someone else could. But we're not in a place to be able to understand that better. But also you might be remembering again aspects of you. And maybe a little bit more increased in a particular frequency so that you can learn how to soften that down over time. And gently, slowly, it begins to occur again. Your awareness increases. And over time, you see the gentler side of things and the kinder and respectful time. Or kinds of things. And you get into territories where you start to see more than you want to see. And that's engaging with others and engaging with yourself. And then you have to learn how to be compassionate and be okay with you. You're just a person. You're not an idealized individual who only thinks of themselves. And if you are such a person, it's much more difficult to allow yourself to engage with higher states that are softer. You can verbalize that, but it's just hard because you don't want to let go of the images that you already have. These are things that happen to every one of us in our path, the pathway of engaging with higher states. Thanks for the question, Cody. It's a doozy. And I might have extended it just a hair, of course. This question, oh God, we only have 20 minutes, is from Michel Laramie in Quebec. And he always sends in some interesting questions. What is the link between consciousness and the soul? Does consciousness disappear at death? Is it at the service of the soul? Or is it an integral and inseparable part of it, eternal like the soul? If we are growing, does the soul grow or does it remain unchanged? In other words, what is it that grows? Does the soul need to grow? Wow, I don't think I can do this in 20 minutes, Michelle. Let me see if I can do one and then next Thursday do some more. What is the link between consciousness and the soul? Now, you're asking me an honest question, so I'm going to answer it in the best way that I know how. This idea of consciousness is a construction that we've come up with. It's a flow of energy at a level that is different than our levels. One could say that the level is so high that it's almost impossible for us to imagine what that means. At a lower level, where we can try to imagine, the idea of consciousness is energy-based. Whereas others may say consciousness is the ability that you have to be aware. The idea of soul has all kinds of meanings, according to stuff that we've come up with. We meaning humanity. And some believe it is a beingness. You know, we've talked about this before. And that usually it's dealt with in our levels as if it were a human being. In other words, because we allegorically we think about these things in visions of us. You know, what is hot, whatever is at the highest is like what's at the lowest. We talk about all these kinds of things, but we do not talk about the meanings of them. So what we do is God or some image of a higher state must look like us, must act like us, must be like us, must engage with us. And consciousness is that spirit that operates through that. And if it operates through that at that level, at another level, it can operate through us here. It brings up all kinds of ideas of we really being gods, operating at a very low level, and we have forgotten how to operate higher, and the definition of those gods would be a great personality that was able to do anything related to the material plane, fly, walk on water, no offense to anybody. And we do these kind of metaphorical things. And we do it for good reason. We do it so that we can understand stuff and try to make sense of it. So the difference between the link between consciousness and the soul, I think it's all that energy that we do not have a clue about because we don't perceive it in the manner that it exists. We perceive it in a manner that relates to our personalized versions of what that might mean, so we'll understand it. And this is a very important thing. This is the only way we can communicate. I happen to have a different version of that soul, idea of soul. From my understanding, it's a reservoir of attainable development that has lain within an individual's journey, not only in this lifetime, but perhaps many others, whether they be on this level or any other level. And for me, those chakras, zephyros, centers, whatever you want to call them, are doorways into us from other planes that give us a version of what we believe we are and think we must be because our focus is on us. And that energy is what we use to engage with life and think with and physically engage or emotionally respond. Those centers are active, and you can perceive that energy coming in to utilize a focus. So we're practicing focusing on action and reaction and softening and all kinds of things that relate to a versioning of preparation within that personality structure, because that's what they are focused on, so that we can survive here. And we haven't got a clue that that's really true. Mostly, it's theoretical stuff. Over the years, I've tried to, even in my own world, tried to be cognizant, conscious of how that might work and how, and do some of these tools or any other tools that will help you to become more aware. Not so you can become important, but so you can become aware and gain access to an understanding that is deeper than the personalizations that we idealize. It's really difficult in our world. If we had a number of keys that might be really important to doing this, first thing we do is we learn them, we see them, we watch them, we've read about them, and we tend to not use them. You might use one every now and then, use another every now and then, use another every now and then. And the structure that you are helps you not to use them very much. Otherwise, you will change, and you are protecting yourself from changing like everyone else is. Now, that's not negative to me. That happens to be something that if you begin to be aware of it, you have grown in awareness. May not be able to do anything about it yet, but you have grown in awareness. And you might be too afraid to do something about it, because you know you don't understand what that will make you in the long run. So, the soul as a reservoir of your energy development how that has treated each and every center, and a movement towards the expansion of different frequencies in that soul reservoir moves you towards being able to engage with another level of energy coming in for the purpose of helping you to grow in this life. And in this life, as you grow, the same thing occurs. That movement in energy relates to that soul structure and prepares you to be able to engage in a certain way that would be helpful to others in terms of handling energy, handling that growing process without elevating it into a personalized structure, which we learn how to create all our lives. Because if we don't create it, we're in a lot of trouble with the world around us. That's the first level of question that of Michelle's, and I'll try to go into the next part of that next Thursday. I think, next Thursday. So right now, let's meditate, and I hope really that you really enjoy it. Asking for help for others while not attempting to do it yourself is extremely helpful to you as a growing being, because it opens the heart in an area that doesn't want to open, because its focus is on maintaining and helping the personality to remain the same. It's not only the heart that does that. The brow and the throat center does it too. If your crown has started to open, the crown will do the same thing. That is counter a little bit to ideas that relate to some people's belief, but if you think it through and try to understand your relationship with actually growing, you start to get the hints of, not that you're bad because you've done it differently, but that you're learning. And the key in this whole thing is learning. There's kind of an interesting thing that occurs. Those higher levels move to maintain you the way that you believe you need to be, or to help you to understand something within you that can be then moved in the direction of helping others through the element of not interfering personally with the help that can operate through you. Please pay attention to those last two sentences the best you can. They are the worst, most difficult sentences that almost everybody has difficulty with. Truly, without any doubt. Let's enjoy a good meditation, and I wish everybody well. And take care of yourselves. Have a good evening.
शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये अनेकदन्तं भक्तानां एकदन्तम् उपास्महे गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपितजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम् मूषिकवाहनमोदकहस्ता चामरकर्णविलम्बितसूत्रा महेश्वरपुत्रा विघ्नविनायकपद नमस्ते Sundari Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Lalita Devi Mahamaye Mangale Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Mahakali Bhairavi Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Mahalakshmi Vaishnavi Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Ma Saraswati Brahmi Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Mamba Lalita Devi Amba Lalita Devi Parabhakti Varade Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Amba Lalita Devi Maya Vishwamohini Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Amba Lalita Devi Ishwari Narayani Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Amba Lalita Devi Nitya Parameshwari Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Amba Lalita Devi Jagadambe Janani Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha Namastasye Narayani Namostute. Om स्वरूपाये नमो नमः लीलाकल्पितब्रह्माण्डमण्डलाय नमो नमः। Church.
Now I'll just begin to do the balancing and grounding, and have a good evening, everybody.